What is up, guys? What is up? NYKia31 here. Haven't done a Madden video because I haven't really had much to talk about until now. The Madden 18 blog that I was basically, well, it was basically the only thing that I was looking forward to based off of what we've been receiving so far. The Madden Mechanics Community Request Addressed blog by Mr. Rex Dixon that was posted today. Quite intensive. A lot of stuff there. I wanted to touch on some things that I felt are particularly interesting. It didn't cover everything as far as what I've heard from guys who are at EA Play and whatnot, but it was pretty extensive. And what I'm going to do, I'm just going to run down the list here and kind of touch on some things that I feel will, impact how we play that game. The first item here is off-ball injuries, injuries away from the ball, which will also include offensive and defensive linemen. Now, DLs were able to get injured previously. In my Houston Texans, in my CFM where I'm the Houston Texans, or was the Houston Texans, I won't beat them this year. That CFM's going to have a lottery to draw teams. But in that online franchise last year, I lost J.J. Watt for 3 or 4 games in season one, the first play of the season in year one. So, that's not really that big of a change, but the offensive lineman being able to get injured, that's a biggie for online CFM and offline CFM. Offensive linemen only were injured during sims, but not in head-to-head gameplay. And outside of losing a quarterback, having your offensive line decimated by injury is a really good way to have your season ruined, or at least greatly alter how you play offense. If you have to plug in backup offensive linemen or get offensive linemen off a scrap heap, that can be a really, really big problem. The ball hawk mechanic. Thank God for this one. You can no longer just run around like a madman holding triangle or Y for the entire play and instantly be a competent user defender. We're back to the days of having to time your user INT or your SWAT attempt. That's going to be a bit of an adjustment. Even though someone like myself has been playing the game for years and years and years, it'll take a series or two to, get out of that habit. But once you do, I think it's going to be fine, and people who have good reflexes and good timing on the sticks will be okay. They'll be just fine. They won't suffer that much. What I really like is if you do catch someone spamming the triangle or the Y button, you can pump fake and be able to manipulate a user, a controller defender. That's great. The pump fake has been kind of absent the past couple of years as far as its effectiveness, and I've missed it. I used to pump fake quite often, and it'll be good to have that mechanic back to being useful. The hit stick mechanic, back on the right analog stick. I didn't mind the square button or the X button depending on what console you're on. But truth be told, I like analog better. I like to be able to use or have the option to use analog whenever I can. It just feels more intuitive and more fluid to me. It just makes sense, flick down to hit low, up to hit high. It just always felt natural to me. So I'm glad to have that be a case where you don't have to worry about it. It's back on the stick, use it, and prosper. Ball carrier special moves. This is a biggie. In Madden 17, it was really, really difficult to use anybody but a truck back. Power back with high trucking, guys that were more elusive, or backs and receivers that you had to get out into space in order to really use them at their maximum potential and evade tacklers with a spin or a juke move. That was really tough. It was really hard to get backs like Jamal Charles, LaShawn McCoy to be effective in space. Even guys like Tariq Hill or Ultimate Legend Tim Brown, for example, who had good run after the catch, juke ability, tough to do so. You basically were relying on outrunning people. It was really hard to do anything outside of trucking or stiff arming or an ultimate team using a battle ready back. So that will do a lot to add to personnel variety, as it'll make more players useful, and that's certainly a good thing. The next item on the blog, dropped INTs. This is a tricky one for me. On the one hand, I get it. No one likes having people rewarded for throwing the ball right at defenders and defenders not coming down with picks and therefore bailing someone out or making a bad read. But on the other hand, the defenders' catch rating and their play ball traits, they have to mean something. I'm curious to see how this one plays out and how differently it plays out between competitive mode and simulation mode, just what the thresholds are and what the ratio will be when it comes to, okay, bad read, ball thrown right to the defender, how often is he going to come down with that and make the INT? Swerve, that's gone, thank God. No further explanation needs to be given for that. That was just a bloody nightmare. Curl flat zones. How many years have you been hearing me preach about the old Belichick Saban no cover zone rule when it pertains to routes 5 yards and under? Basically, what that is that they'll allow you to catch the ball on a 3 to 5 yard route, and they'll dare you to take that throw all game and let your receivers get walloped by closing safeties and linebackers. And when you really want to take those routes away, you play tight man coverage, where you protect the sticks or compress your zones underneath. That's just basic football coverage scheme. So yeah, we've all been sick of seeing our curl flat zones get sucked down unnecessarily and leave a deep corner or deep out route open because they're coming underneath to react to a flat route on third or fourth and 15. By far one of the most frustrating things that have happened to you on defense in the game. So happy to see that addressed. You also have things like fumble pileups being addressed and being done more cleaner. I've already kind of touched on user control defenders, but they did mention user controlled LBs and the ability to be able to cover so much ground with linebackers and coverage and be able to take away multiple routes at multiple depths. That's encouraging to see. That's a good indicator that realistic user control player movement has been improved. And again, that brings back the skill gap. If you're out there roaming around blindly or you're cheating on routes that you shouldn't be cheating on, you should get punished. So I feel like the skill gap is being brought back to the game, which is great to see. So those are the main points that really stuck out to me as far as the blog goes. Love to hear your guys' thoughts, and I'll talk to you all later. Peace.